Producing enough seeds and crops is listed by China's economic planners as one of the country's key economic priorities for 2021. That is according to China's Central Economic Work Conference. President Xi Jinping also said in the New Year's speech a few hours ago that China has seen a good harvest in grain production for 17 years in a row. What made Beijing think that seeds are so important? What are the main challenges? Joining me here today is Professor Liu Baocheng from the University of International Business Economics, and from China's western province of Gansu is Liu Min, professor at Lanzhou University. Welcome to both of you. Let me go to you first, Professor Liu. According to official data, China imported a total of 13 billion tons of grains from January 2020 to November 2020. That is a 30% increase year on year. And that happened in spite of the pandemic. Why do you think that is?
Well, one is it's a real need by Chinese market because China is a very highly agricultural country. But now we are transforming our industries more on more added value manufacture, and more of the farmers are migrating into the coastal areas and urban cities for better income and better job opportunities. And so that really leaves the room for China to have the gap to be filled by the imports. The other is that China is growing a lot of livestock. You see that China raises a lot of more pigs, chicken, and cows, etc. So animal feeds are also there to be imported through processing the oil and producing the feeds, and we are able to keep more of the rich food on to the Chinese tables.
Yeah, I'm no expert on agriculture, and but I know someone who is. That is Ms. Liu Min from Lanzhou University. Ms. Liu, let me go to you. Why do you think China's top economic planners listed seed and crop production as one of the country's economic priorities going forward?
Yeah, because the food security is always very important for China. We have we have a large population, and food is quite necessary for everyone. So food security is always the most important thing, and also in international trade, it's kind of our biggest strategy.
Right, Professor Liu, there are a myriad of challenges this year. The pandemic is one, the ensuing lockdown that has been very strictly enforced throughout the country, of course, is putting pressure on farmers and farming. How do you look at the challenges this year as we reflect on this difficult year past?
Well, I remember one Nobel Prize winner in economics, Dr. Sen, described India. Whenever there is a crisis, there is really a surplus of food in stock because people have to get prepared for another blow of the crisis. But in China, it is the same sort of social psychology, but I think now the panic has more or less dispersed because the Chinese government reassured the Chinese farmers and the citizens alike that we have enough food in stock for the next 3 years, and also with the agreement between China and the United States going on, a bulk of which is really to import the agricultural produce from the United States, and also we are diversifying our source of supply from over 50 countries now for the different type of not only seeds but also the stocks and also the vegetables, etc. So therefore, there is no reason for farmers to get panic. But one thing is important is that they need to have enough quality seeds to be prepared for the next crop.
Right. And the Deputy Director of the Central Economic and Financial Affairs Commission, Han Weixiu, said this. He said that seeds are the microchips, in agriculture. So, Ms. Liu, in Gansu University, how do you look at that comparison, that analogy?
Yes, seeds are very important for us because farmers, all of the farmers need to use it. Of course, we need to have the technology by ourselves, and since farmers don't, most of farmers, let's say probably already 90% of farmers don't leave their own seeds for the next year, so most of them started to buy from the market. Actually, originally, most of the seeds actually from other countries, especially the vegetable seeds. But it's very important for our food security, so we have to have more investment on the technology on the seeds part. That's why I said it's really like the chips. It's something we really need to control in our own hand.
Professor Liu, you've written a few books, and done research about this. What really is the importance of seeds when it comes to crops and the agricultural and food security? Professor Liu. Sorry.
Yes. Well, one thing is that the seeds are really the beginning of all the crops. And so the productivity is one, safety is another, because China is really striking a very delicate balance between the GMOs, which is genetically modified organism, and the indigenous crops. And also we are preventing the sort of biological invasion of many other alien species. But in the meantime, we need to increase the quality and productivity, and also that they need to be more resistant to weather changes, to be resistant to the pesticides, etc. So that's utterly important. But at the moment, roughly we have nearly 6,000 type of seed companies in China, but when they add up, they can hardly match one single company, which is Monsanto, who are really controlling the invention of many of those seeds. And in the meantime, China is really struggling, because you see that Chinachem has purchased Syngenta, which is one of the largest merger and acquisition businesses in the agricultural industry. And hopefully they are able to produce more assurance and better quality and continuous supply of those seeds to Chinese farmers.
Right. Ms. Liu, in Gansu, let me ask you about this. How do you think technological innovation can help improve the quality of seeds, and also the its distribution and the efficiency of using those seeds?
Yeah, about that, I really think the biology technology need to cooperate with computer science technology. Like what we always like recent years, big data is something we really focus on. So if the data about the seeds on the cloud, a big data set for the seeds, then use the biology technology to develop to improve the seeds quality.
And how widely used is it? So far? Because it sounds like a very tempting and attractive technology.
Yes, because now we need to know all of the data of the seeds, like how you can select the good quantity, and even some biological experiment. We collect all of the data. So when we have enough data to compare with each other, it's like a very efficient way to improve, to do the experiment.
Professor Liu, how do you look at the role of technology and technological innovation when it comes to ensuring China's food security?
Well, definitely it is utterly important, from seeds to the food processing to the soil management and to waste disposal, etc. So the technology plays a vital role. But in the meantime, we have to look at the Chinese the land management picture, because the Chinese, the farmers have been alleviated all the restrictions to grow whatever type of crops they really like. So the household responsibility system is really unleashing the potentials of the household. But in the meantime, we are really facing restrictions, because right now in most part of the Chinese rural area, households, taking care of small plots of land, and that can hardly really, rolling out a big scale operation in terms of finance, in terms of the technology application. So the small plots are really presenting the biggest constraints. So therefore, how we can really push forward the concentration of those land, but in the meantime, by preventing exploitation by large companies or tycoons in the rural area. So that's something that we need to work out. It is not only seed or technology per se, but it's the entire system design that need to be reinvented for the unleashing of productivity, and also to have better food security in the same time.
Professor Liu, you talk about small plot farming. Can you explain to our viewers what exactly that is?
Well, we used to have the type of commune system through collectivization, and brigades, communes, call on all farmers to work in the collective lands. But at the beginning of the Chinese reform process, the land was redistributed to the Chinese farmers. They work more like tenants on the land, but people were motivated, but right now they do not really have the type of skill operation for productivity. Therefore, many of those younger generations, they migrate into the cities to work on assembly lines instead of plowing the fields. And now, you see that more of the children and aged people are working on the farms, and this is not the type of dynamic way to deal with Chinese agriculture. So therefore, the Chinese government placed the high emphasis, particularly this year, on reinventing the Chinese agricultural type of institutional setting, financial supply, technological innovation. But that really remains to be seen, whether this time we can really be so decisive to invigorate Chinese agriculture industry and also the food safety.
Yeah, truly, lots of young labor went to the want to move up the corporate ladder. Of course, they went to bigger cities, looking for employment. Ms. Liu in Gansu, let me go to you. E-commerce has been another key technology in elevating rural poverty. We saw a lot of live streaming going on through the cell phones and online. How do you think the Chinese e-commerce may revitalize the rural sector?
Yeah, recently I'm working on the rural e-commerce. E-commerce actually got a lot of attention from the government, social media, etc. I think, according to my research, we found the application of e-commerce by farmers increased their income indeed, And for example, we did some survey on the apple farmers. The use of e-commerce helped the apple farmers to increase their selling price by 75%. Actually, that's a lot. It's an average level, but the cost also increased a lot, which is fourfold. Even though in the end, the net growth increased by 10%. So we can say actually it directly increased the income for farmers, but still the
Right. Lots of side effects, pros and cons. Ms. Liu, I'm sorry, but we'll have to leave it there. That's all the time we have. Thank you so much, Professor Liu Baocheng here in Beijing as well, and Ms. Liu Min in Gansu. And with that, we'll come to the end of this edition of The Point. Happy New Year, and thank you so much for tuning in.